Hello, welcome to Love Food, Hate Money. It's great to have you all join us. I heard there's some welcome backs and some first timers. Break it down for you here so that we were all on the same page. It's going to be the podcast where we talk about food and sometimes money, but hardly ever, but mostly a lifestyle. I'm Jonah. This is going to be co-host Courtney.
Hey.
And as a part of the wonderful things of this industry is that we get to meet people that are fun to talk to. So we got one for you today. It's going to be the man, the myth, the moose. Also known as Zach, but hello. And I think the most important thing is starting off with why your nickname is Moose. And I'll tell that story real fast so everyone can know that sometimes when you think, you break. There was a pre-shift. So we worked together at the restaurant, and there was an end of a pre-shift where he was trying to come up with a question and just kind of like put his thumbs to his temples and raised his fingers up and was stuck there for about 15 seconds. Just went up like, "You good, Moose?" And that like snapped him back to reality. He's just like, no.
Not my brightest moment, that's for sure.
Not your darkest.
No, not my darkest.
Good middle ground moment.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely very middle grounded. You know, brings joy to people, but still embarrassing.
There are worse nicknames for sure.
Definitely. Very unfitting, though. And definitely
not moose-sized.
No moose qualities whatsoever.
Now it's the podcast where we talk about what moose qualities we see in people.
Very threatening.
What moose qualities do we
lots
see?
Lots of hair.
Oh, yeah.
Big.
I say big nose.
Big
nose, right? Big. I was thinking big nose.
That too. They have those. What? Do they have? What are they called on moose?
Antlers, right?
Are they antlers?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure across the board they're antlers for all horned
Ooh.
animals.
This is why the podcast we're talking about food and we don't eat moose. So
Yeah,
we
No,
got
I've
not
not eaten
starting.
moose yet. You're our first guest that's actually had to work with Jonah in the most recent years. So we had Donnie on. Donnie worked with Jonah in early years. I mean, how awful is it to work with Jonah?
I mean, I feel like we had some great times. There was I miss those days. Lying to the camera. Yes.
No,
those were good times.
Yeah, it was fun. It was. I think I'm probably the worst person to work. My like negative quality to work with me is that I'm very good at just like avoiding the line of fire. So there'll be times where like everyone's made a mistake, but I will not be in the room when it happens. So I don't.
Yes, very true. Very many times.
I'm just like peek out, and be like.
So what happened yesterday?
Funny you should ask. All right, I didn't want to know, and then I just disappear.
Also, that's why we can't have shifties anymore.
Oh, shifties. We need to talk about our drinks today. Moose has nothing. He's living the desert life and has no beverages.
You're a terrible host.
That's what they call about me.
Not the first time it's been said.
And then we're drinking sparkling Riesling. So it's a 2009 deal. I think it's the producer. It's coming out of Germany. It's aged on the lease for, I think it said 8 or 9 years before like disgorgement. So really interesting. It's got probably the highest acid out of any sparkling wine I've ever had. It's causing me to have reflux as we speak.
That's really good for
Sour
recording.
bubbly bread.
Sour bubble bread.
It's delicious.
It's very good, but
I can't imagine drinking a lot of it, and it would be better with food.
oh yeah, this with fried food, the dream, baby.
You know, we only recently ate. I'm instantly hungry. Just thinking about the combination of that sparkling Riesling and fried food.
Ugh.
It's like instantaneous salivation.
We should do that soon. We should do a fried chicken and bubbles night.
Yes.
It's my favorite.
Chicken and bubs.
That's my favorite combination. That's easy when people ask for any like pairings on menus. Is like, what would you like? What would go with this fried food? Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Like, are you sure? I'm pretty sure you're gonna make it through this. We're gonna get through it together.
That's the old cheat though. Like, just like if you don't know, bubbles.
Bubbles.
Like, yeah.
It goes with everything. It'll
Everybody
always,
likes it. It's always going to be good.
Or rosé.
or sparkling rosé. Then you really.
Oh, you've gotten both. killing two birds, one stone right there.
Right in the center of the Venn diagram.
Double timing it.
So your background really specializes in cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
And you've kind of run the gamut of like high end to maybe the local dive bar. Like, what area do you prefer? Like, if you could choose like your dream cocktail bar to work at, like, what does that look like?
I mean, ideal world, I'd be standing in a service well. I wouldn't have to talk to anybody, and I would just make cocktails for a really big restaurant floor. But I mean, the casual side of it is probably more where it's at for me. Like, the clubs are like way too high paced, and it's really just for people who like to hurt. To be honest with you, like the people who just like are in for a little bit of torture because you don't get out until like 3 or 4 in the morning. Likely scenario, you're probably gonna go out and get drunk after you get off shift anyway, so you're definitely sleeping until 2 in the afternoon. You know, but yeah, the casual side of it's just way more fun. I do miss bartending every now and again, being out of the industry for a little while now. Mostly just like making cocktails, not necessarily like the people interaction.
Not the interaction.
Yeah, I don't really miss that. You know, that takes a lot. It takes a lot of mental effort for me. But making cocktails, that was always the fun part.
No
being
thoughts,
able
just
to
vibes on the making, and then you got to talking to people, and you're like,
Threw off my groove.
this was going great until you started talking to me.
Yeah, you just had to open your mouth, didn't you? Before even looking at the menu.
No.
That's my favorite, is to offer that up to people. Be like, do you want a martini? They're like, what? And I was like, if you wanted a martini, you knew you wanted it 2 days ago, and then I'll walk away.
That's a power move right there. Just
do you want this?
No.
Okay.
Just checking.
Just needed to test the water.
Oh, just wanted to see what kind of night we were preparing for here.
Like, do you like gently chilled alcohol? No. We can keep talking.
I think that's the one thing I hate about the modern day person who orders the vodka martini or even the gin martini is that they're like, no vermouth. Like, so
well, this is
you
just
literally
gin
just want fucking
vodka.
cold alcohol. Why wouldn't you just drink it on a cup of ice? It's gonna taste more better because it has the slow dilution of water. It'll eventually be cold,
Yeah.
and you can garnish it more appropriately.
It'll be cold fast too. You can put your finger in it and just kind of give it the old
Oh,
whiz.
a little swish.
Yeah, sure. Or I can give you a little cocktail straw, and you don't have to be a heathen, Jonah.
I make people use their fingers. So if they want it, they'll work for
Can't
it.
stop, won't stop. Well, we've been asking our listeners to send us industry stories, and so far I think we've gotten like 2, so they're really slacking. We're actually going to fire our listeners.
We have 2 listeners.
Yeah, we have 2 listeners. It's very exciting.
Good thing each of them has a story.
Would be your go-to? You're in a new group of people. They're sharing stories. Like, what is your industry story?
That's a tough one. The moose one comes up a lot because it's like more recent, and it's one of the ones that's like a painful bright memory.
Memory for
Yeah, it's kind of a core memory. Plus, it's also kind of funny, like to explain to people.
Why does anyone call you Moose?
Yeah, why would anybody? It's like, it's my own failure,
I did this to myself.
Yeah, I did it to myself. Shot myself in the foot. Oh man, that's a tough one.
How about as far as like customers? Because I'd imagine with all the places you've worked, just thinking of the few that I know of, you've had some interesting customers.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked at True Food, that was probably the place I got the most unique people because that was like right on the cusp. I feel like of like the health food craze or movement, where everybody
What
was
can you
like,
make that's healthy alcohol? And you're like,
yeah, everyone was
No.
like, I want to be conscious about what I put in my mouth. Like, okay.
Why are you here with him?
Yeah, all of a sudden now it's like, oh, I want to pay attention to that. But no, like at True Food, there was this one lady that I got along with her okay because I didn't have a problem like faking being like overly nice to this woman, but
like people that were just like, if you're not kissing me,
yeah, if you were
This is a bad
like unhappy to her in any way, it was like an insult to her existence. It was, and I had to sit there one day at the bar and have her explain this whole like ethos to me of why she felt so like offended by people who weren't like happy or couldn't put a smile on in customer service.
God.
I mean, she was at the bar for at least.
Did you just
like,
start frowning the longer the story went on? She was like, "It's happening to me."
I mean, by my luck, I was in the service well, which is pretty much where I lived anyways when I was at True Food. So like, I had enough of a distraction where like I didn't like wasn't fully invested in the conversation, but it was painful enough to sit here and have to listen to her be like, it's just so terrible when someone doesn't greet you at a counter with a smile, or, you know, doesn't sound like they're enjoying their job. Like it's part of the customer service experience. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, I mean, you can't always assume what's going on in people's lives, but you know, I do understand where you're coming from. You know, there should be at least a moderate amount of effort, you know.
Hi. And that's where it ties
I
off.
bet that lady hated masks. She was like, I don't know if you're smiling.
It wouldn't surprise me if that lady was an anti-masker. Like, not in the least bit. Like,
Or the masks with the mesh, that way you could still see their face and it didn't actually do anything. It was like extra scary.
And then,
yeah,
like,
or
the
a below the
ones.
nose masker.
Ooh.
Just like, just hanging out with the nose dick over the fucking mask. Like, it looks bad too. Like,
Oh, God.
how do you not
Look
walk
weird.
by a window or like see yourself in a mirror and passing and just like, whoa, God. What is
Is that
what I
me?
look like to people?
It looks
Someone should tell
awful.
him to put that thing away. Oh, that's me.
Oh, that's me.
So she just sat there and was like, was she happy with you at the time? Was she like,
No, yeah, I
appreciate you for
had-
smiling at me? And she
I
was like,
served her at the bar at least maybe half a dozen times at the least. I mean, she came in the restaurant definitely more than that, but I was only tortured by her overt like happiness half a dozen times.
That's the kill him with kindness, but too literally.
I mean, okay, I appreciate people who
Suicide by kindness.
yeah, suicide by kindness. I mean, I appreciate people who look on the bright side of things, but if you're going to be so egregious and like say that other people who aren't happy are like an insult to you, and it upsets you so much that you feel the need to
Be
talk to me for
upset.
40 minutes about one topic the entire time, you know, I think there's an underlying problem here.
And it's not me.
Something else is wrong, and I don't think you're as happy as you claim to be.
She was, I guess that was why she went to restaurants. It's just an energy vampire, just suck away the life force
yes.
out of the people.
That is what she was, because you know what? Now that I think about it, that is exactly how I felt.
You
Like,
were just
10
totally
minutes into
drained.
working in the well, I was just like, wow, this is getting really hard. Like, my arms are really heavy.
Everything feels wrong.
She was just sapping my life force easily. That job sapped my life force after a while, though. Not
Maybe.
gonna lie.
That's the industry that I think people don't talk about that frequently, is where it's like, yeah, we all have fun here, but there's a certain amount of we're all mad here.
Yeah, there truly is. Truly. I mean, because you do have fun with the people, because, I mean, everybody that works in a restaurant has, like, some kind of love for pain or just inert chaos, you know? There, you know, there's those people that are just like, oh, I love the different thing every day. It's always different. I don't know what's going to happen.
See, this is
Like-
him doing the me impersonation.
Yeah,
This is
really,
what I
that's
did.
you. And this happened, and this happened. Jonah, that sounds terrible. It was so exciting.
You'll never guess the stupid thing that happened today.
Weird shit happens to you, though.
I mean, weird shit happens to everyone. I will say there are times where I'll go through like cursed periods, though.
You would always get some really strange guests at F&B, I feel like.
Like, did you happen to know that this dog would like that chair?
I don't think you've told that story yet.
I haven't. So there was we were only seating outside, and we had so all the tables and everything are outside. There was a table that was sitting like in front of a series of windows so you could see inside, and this woman there was one other woman, so it was a 2-top, and then so it was a 2.5 top because there was a dog there.
Classic.
This
I
woman
didn't know dogs were counting for half a person now.
Yeah, I mean, that one was. If you ask that woman, that dog was a person and a half.
And if you see my taxes, a dog does count as a child.
Oh, look at those sweet little babies. Expected Winter to start barking again.
Oh.
So she looked at me I said hi, and she said, "Can I have a chair for my dog?" So like that's how it started. And there's nothing like part of the fun of the industry, especially the front facing service side, is trying to respond to that, where you're kind of on a form of autopilot where you're like, hello, and then when they don't say hello of any kind back and they jump right in with, "Can I have a chair for my dog?" That, I mean, immediately I just shut down. There was like a 2-second, like, you could hear the Windows like reboot just and so I had to process, and I said, "No, like, you can't, you can't have a chair for your dog." And she was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, we don't have any extra chairs for dogs right now." And so I said that, and then I tried to get a drink order, and that they just wanted water, and I like process the heartbreak. And so I went away, and I didn't realize that they were sitting in front of a window where they could see a bunch of extra metal chairs that we had like laying around.
Your mistake.
Yeah, I was a fool. So I go back to the table, and I'm like, "Hey, do you have a chance to think about the drinks? Like, you want some wine?" They're like, "Can we have that chair for our dog?" And they point at a stack of like 8 metal chairs. And I had to look at them and just, no, those are reserved for people. And then I walked away again. I couldn't stay around longer than that and not say something that was going to get me fired.
Oh, to keep pressing the need for the chair. It just how fucking old
The dog is just looking up at me like,
The dog's like, "Where's my fucking
the fuck
chair?"
did I do? Are you discriminating right now? No.
Am I being discriminated against?
Is it because I'm small? Like, yeah, you little Bichon Frise, get the hell out of here.
That story held up for a long time.
It's still great.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of I haven't had many other like truly good interactions that are beyond, like, there's all sorts of them that are like mildly upsetting, where it's just like, oh, you just don't get how this works, where it's the people that will sit for 2.5 hours, so 30 minutes past their actual reservation slot, and then you go up to them and you say, "Hey, I really appreciate you here, but the people that need to sit here now have been waiting for 10 minutes. You really have to." And they're like, "Why are you rushing us out of the restaurant?"
Why do you hate
What is
me?
this?
What did I do? Like, well, you paid for a 2-hour block, and it's 2.5. Do you want to pay for another block? Are you eating again? Let's do it.
Are you eating again?
If you order one more whole round of food, not just I'll have dessert. If you order 2 appetizers, 3 entrees, and a dessert split right now, you can stay here.
But you got to commit to the whole thing right now.
And no boxes.
And no boxes.
Now you're being punished.
I do not miss having to try and get people out in that 2-hour window.
The 2-hour window is tight for some people, which is
It
really
is.
funny because I can't eat that long.
Because the food comes to the table and you immediately just
Kirby go and just.
your Teletubbies vacuum.
I could if I was drinking. Like
Yeah,
if there
you're
was like several bottles of wine involved, definitely could eat that
Slow it
long.
up, pace it out.
Yeah.
Like, there's times where it can be, or if like service is really slow. We've had a couple times where it was like, we were here for 2 hours, but not by choice.
We didn't do this.
Yeah, I don't miss the Marlene running up to you. "Hey, Chico, so where's this table at?"
They're right there. Go
sitting
look
right
at 'em.
there with the check on it. If they don't put a card down, I don't know what to tell you.
Where you just start staring at them, and then you make eye contact and you look away.
You just stand there from the corner and just like, yeah, you could leave whenever you want.
Anytime. When they start kissing instead of paying, that happens to be pretty frequently, where there'll be last 2 people in the restaurant are just there kissing, and I'm like, is the kink for you me looking at you doing this? Is that what's helping you right now?
I'm when it's an older couple, like 40 plus, I really truly believe that it's like something to like rev them up to go home later.
Oh
I
my
truly
God.
believe that. Because what other excitement do you have at this point?
You're like, well, the kids are out of the house, so
Wow.
so they can't walk in on us having sex. So how do we?
So this poor unassuming server.
Yes.
How was everything this evening?
I know it's 12:30, but we're not quite there yet. So we just need to we just need to slob over this glass of water for another 15 minutes.
Can you start cooing at us like a pigeon, though, please? I'm sorry? I said coo.
Do you mind turning the lights all the way up and start mopping around us? That's really how we get
The
there.
lights all the way up, really. It's how I know I've been caught.
Oh God, no.
Yes, do not miss waiting for people to leave my job. Pretty much now it's just like, oh, we're done for the day. Fantastic.
All right, bye.
Cannot wait to clock out.
Goodbye.
And runs.
Yes, immediately runs.
Back on the note of cocktails, what is the worst cocktail that you've had to make? Of like, not necessarily like, oh, that's gross, but like an actual from a labor standpoint, other than like milk punches and stuff like that. Because
just like difficult to
just
make.
Like, well, why did you ask me for this? I don't want to have to deal with this
pretty much
right
anything
now.
muddled. I mean, anytime you have to muddle something, it's a pain. Like, go back to True Foods. We had this like stupid acai mojito. It was just like this acai spirit that we used, and we muddled blueberries in it. And anytime,
not acai berries.
Yeah, not acai berries, blueberries. Yes,
but
because they're close.
They have the same name.
Yeah, duh. But like it was just a labor intensive drink, and people would always complain because the drink was supposed to be pink, and nobody would ever like actually put the elbow grease and like muddle up the blueberry skin to make it pink. And I would, like, because I actually liked making the cocktail look the right way, and I was like, I would put probably more effort than was necessary into this cocktail. So like anytime you have to muddle something, especially if you're trying to draw color from it,
Sure.
it's an absolute just like why whose idea was this?
And you look in the mirror and you're like, bastard.
Yeah. And as a bar manager, I remember when I put an egg white cocktail on my first bar menu, and it felt like I was like, I knew
you were torturing
people.
I
was like, now I know what it feels like on the other end. Like you put this cocktail that nobody wants to make on the menu, and people actually order it, and you're just like, yeah. You do that. You dry shake that cocktail.
Have fun with the pisco sour, you sad baby boy.
Well, and there's nothing worse too than ordering an egg white cocktail and it's not shaken properly.
And it's not frothy. It's like all broken. You're just like,
I had one of those the other day.
Yeah.
It was sad. We were like, oh man, this
could have been so great.
You needed to shake this for about 15 more seconds.
It's really not even that hard. Like nowadays, you could honestly just like throw a little blender ball from those little like
like
protein bottles.
So you're saying you worked out? Just throw in a blender ball, bro. It's just.
I mean, it's the same thing as like whisking it, aeration. Like there's so many cheats now. You could just get they make a small hand blender.
Yeah.
In case your hands are too big.
In case your hands are too big, yes.
Small hands.
Small hand blender. I always hate making cocktails with expensive spirits. Like when I worked,
those are wild because there'll be times where it's like
Can I get a Don Julio 1942 margarita? I'm like, okay. Can we discuss why you want to pay $30 for a cocktail right now? Like you are already telling me that you know how much you lead with. Oh, I know how expensive it is, but this is what I want. Like, why? Can I just make you a regular margarita, pour you a shot of Don Julio 1942 next to it, charge you the same exact price, and you can chase the good stuff with the shitty margarita that I make for you? How about that? Like, why would you ruin something that you're already paying an exorbitant amount for?
I like to picture it as they are so wealthy that they just want to flex on it, but also hate the taste of alcohol. And that's my favorite, where it's like, I don't want to taste the Don Julio. No.
That exists. Throws down an Amex black card.
You're like, oh, hello, old friend. You're cut from different cloth than me.
Hello, credit card with a minimum, not a maximum.
Do you have a go-to drink that you like to put on your menus?
Oh, I mean, like anything.
Don Julio 1942
margarita, yes.
Margarita.
Yes. $30 cocktails, yes. No, I mean, pretty much any tequila cocktail is like you have to have tequila cocktails now on a menu. Like it's
Especially
right
in Arizona.
underneath. Yeah, it's right underneath vodka as far as like popular spirits go. I mean, I hate the fact that vodka is so popular, but I mean, it's flavorless and like it's
Or if it
easy.
is flavored, it's a synthesized flavor that
Yeah.
adds into whatever the hell you're gonna end up
Right.
doing.
So I understand it as much as I hate it. I get it. No, tequila cocktail always. And even though I hate it, if you make it spicy, that shit will move. Like,
The best thing that I found recently was what is it? Grand Canyon Distilling does a ghost pepper vodka
oh yeah,
that is actually got decent flavor and helps with consistency on actually having the peppers, because like there'll be times where they're like, can I have a spicy margarita? Be like, there's not a single chili pepper in house, so
Yeah.
you're gonna get a black pepper margarita. Like that's that's what you're getting. So it's nice to have that like on the back bar and be like, oh yeah, a quarter ounce of this, and it will just like rip the hair off of your chest.
yeah. One of my old coworkers, he showed me this stuff called Ghost. It's a Blanco ghost pepper tequila as well. So that stuff, that like just a half ounce of that stuff would take
Oh, yeah,
anything
it's
pretty far.
ripping.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Just a little bit, but it was also like really freaking good too. Like it wasn't just
You get
like
the flavor
heat.
of the pepper.
Yeah, it actually like tasted good too. Like just like that and some soda water with like a little like chamoy and like tahini rim. It was like money. It's money, dude.
Freaking good.
Where do you stand on spicy cocktails? Because Jonah doesn't like them. I'm neutral towards them.
I mean, I think they have their place. I will always order a spicy cocktail during the summer when I'm like in the mood, especially if it's, little fruity,
Little fruity, little spicy.
little
I've been
fruity,
called
little
worse.
spicy. Yeah, nothing like a little fruity spicy. But yeah, I mean, I hate them because I only hate them because people ask for them a lot. Like the spicy margarita is like. Whenever I hear somebody like, "Have you ever had a spicy margarita?" I'm all
I
like,
love
"Oh
it
my
when
god!"
when they invent it every time they say it.
Yeah, it's
Have you
like
ever, I'm gonna do something crazy. Not even the spicy. For me, it's my favorite. People like, have you ever had a mezcal old fashioned? And I'm like, oh, have I had this drink that was invented, quote unquote, invented 15 years ago? But like old fashioned is just a way of making a cocktail. So that is, you just put any. Have you ever had an Angostura old fashioned? Really fuck their brain, and they're like, oh my god,
oh my god, you don't
it's
say.
so bitter. You're like, yeah, it's not good. It didn't say it was
tricked
good.
you.
It said you could have it.
I love to spirit swap cocktails, even when I know it's not gonna work or be good. I'll do it anyway.
So fun.
Yeah, just to find out what's gonna happen. Like
You watch Food Wars,
is this
right?
gonna be, no, I think
You not watch any episodes of Food Wars?
I try to tell you that my Crunchyroll won't let me watch it. It like just doesn't. It's like glitched out.
Right. That's so sad
It
because
just
one of
doesn't
the
show
main
up.
characters' MOs in that show is that like he gets joy out of the failures of cooking more than the success. So like opening episode is like squid and peanut butter and it's disgusting and everyone hates him and he's like, this is the pinnacle. And that's what I like to picture when you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put vodka inside of this pina colada. It's not gonna have the right flavors. It's just gonna be neutral coconuts.
Yeah, it's just gonna be pineapple sunscreen.
My favorite.
Yummy.
Is that copper tone? That would be really funny to serve a pina colada inside of a copper tone bottle.
A sunscreen bottle?
Like
Ooh.
a la like bitter and twisted to like just
the
have
bears.
they're bears but do it
Oh,
coconutty.
that's actually a really good idea. I actually don't hate that idea.
You just patented that just now. Do not steal it.
Yeah, trademarked, registered, whatever the big companies
Whatever
do.
we have to do.
I wonder what you would have to do to that, like actual
Sanitize it?
copper tone bottle for it to be like,
Food safe.
yeah, food safe, and like the health department not be like, yeah, I don't think so.
But it's sunscreen to be like, yeah, but like it's FDA approved.
Like it's edible to a point. I think you could definitely special order some bottles that did not have sunscreen in them.
Yeah, somehow I think you're probably right.
But
Or
also
you have a bar
defeats
back
the
who's
purpose.
just squeezing sunscreen into a sink in the back.
Wish we had a prop sunscreen bottle to just like I would do it on the floor right now just for the sound. There it is.
I could be your soundboard. I don't mind.
Perfect. I trying to because it's such a weirdly specific where it's like It's
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
Zach's
you're
was
right.
way better.
yeah, you're probably right, but that sound is it's the squishy.
Yeah.
It's the squishy goo.
It's like liquid, but not quite all the way glue.
Yep.
You know, like just on the cusp of being gluey. It's a really great way to.
This is a very auditory episode. This is a lot of
This is
stuff.
the ASMR episode where we talk about things coming out of bottles. Absolutely not.
What kind of bottle was that?
It was sealed.
I'm almost surprised that there's not an ASMR of somebody
people
squeezing
bottle.
bottle.
There's
If you look
ASMRs
it
of
up.
squeezing.
I'm sure it's
It probably
there.
does exist.
Rule 34 is there for a reason.
Oh.
So let's see. What's the best spirit swap that you've done? Because that's an interesting one. Where like,
Oh, I always like putting gin in tiki cocktails for some weird
Ooh.
reason.
all right, Saturn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Saturn is already with gin, but
That was the.
Jonah, you're not the cocktail expert. Shut up.
You're like, of course, stupid. And I was like, well, yeah, it's a tiki cocktail made with gin. It's horchata and Jesus.
Jesus.
Passion fruit.
Why am I blanking right now? Oh, this is terrible.
On the gin tiki cocktail that you
Yeah,
enjoy?
I mean, I've done it with pina colada once, with Old Tom gin.
Interesting.
Yeah, not that exciting, not that weird.
Like if you put gin in a daiquiri, it's just a gimlet.
It's just a gimlet. Yeah, there's not really anything special about that.
I think that's probably one of the funny things that a lot of people don't realize is you probably know the number. How many actual different families of cocktails are there? It's like 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, I think 6 is the number. Yeah,
But there's
it's
pretty it's a pretty small number of there's only 6 drinks. Everything else is just plug and play variables to those 6 drinks.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you can trace each one back to its father drink or mother drink, if you will. I mean, the martini is I guess not the easiest one. The easiest one, I guess, is probably the sour, the margarita. You know, pretty much
The Daisy family.
Yeah, the sidecar. Anything that has a significant amount of acid and some kind of fruit modifier. You know, some kind of liqueur.
In the case of all the previous ones, it was orange because that's what they had.
Yeah, pretty much orange
Now we
liqueur
have the
just about
entire
everywhere.
grocery store.
Yes.
Oh, the scurvy drink days.
The scurvy drink days.
It's a great
Get your
time.
vitamin C.
It's medicine.
Mm.
The government gave it to us as medicine. Imagine being a dog in the military and they're like, but here's your gallon of gin for the day. And they're like, dope.
I wouldn't be too upset.
I will go die now.
I don't know how well I'm gonna be shoot that gun, but
It's a simple time when guns were hard to shoot
They
anyway.
didn't really fire true anyway, so you'd been fine. They wouldn't have noticed.
It's actually improved aim, but it was just the inability to shoot straight.
that's how they counterbalance the poor poor design.
They're like, we don't have any rifling on these bullets, so we're gonna go ahead and just give you a lot of gin. You're gonna see 4 people. Try to hit one of them.
Improved accuracy.
Let's see. What other cocktails?
I always love a good chartreuse cocktail.
Naked and Famous.
Yes, indeed. The Pina Verde is a good go-to.
I don't know that one.
It's just a pina colada with a bunch of chartreuse in it.
Oh my god.
It's literally just pineapple juice, an ounce and a half of green chartreuse and some fucking Coco Real and lime, a little bit of lime.
Coco Real is the shit.
I mean, Coco Lopez is better, but it's hard to find somebody who carries Coco Lopez.
What is it?
It's the original coconut cream.
Oh,
It's
fancy.
yeah.
We've had Coco Real. We use it in our vanilla cakes. If you want to make a great coconut cake, you just take any old white box cake mix, and when it's done, instead of basting it with a simple syrup that people do, you just poke holes in it, and then you pour that coconut cream into it.
Yeah, another good squeeze bottle that makes good sounds. Just Back to
Those
the
sounds.
squeeze bottle ASMR, you know.
Oh, the coconut cream sounds are
Oh my God.
what coconut dreams are made of.
So if you were going to tell someone, hey, they want to build a home bar, like what would you recommend? Like what is a good starting point if someone wants to build cocktails at home?
I mean, the spirit that you like to drink most is probably where I'd start. You know, having a good vodka is always nice, you know, whatever your brand preference is.
What say you good vodka? Because I feel like good vodka is like, yep, it doesn't taste like anything. That's the goal.
Plastic bottle or bust.
I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to vodka for me, I look for a bottle that I can reuse. Like, is the label going to come off easy? And
I love that.
is it liter sized? That's really the only two determining factors for me purchasing a bottle of vodka. Because most of the
Sustainability factor.
yeah, well, most of the time when I buy a bottle of vodka, I'm probably making like a large batch cocktail for like
buying a bottle of vodka.
a party.
I'm drinking a bottle of vodka.
Yes, absolutely. Because how else should vodka be consumed except in full
all
bottle
at once.
format? No, when I buy vodka, usually it's in large format. It's for like a large batch cocktail for like a party. So that's probably why that's.
Have you watched
Why I do that.
what is it called? Is it Tipsy Bartender? Is that the weird, like, super awful kitschy,
Oh my God. Yeah,
Oh,
the ones
yeah.
that make the really obnoxious party
like the
punches.
party punches and the jungle juices?
I'm pretty sure he just goes through like a history of frat boy and like sorority jungle party crap and just like recreates it.
and goes through. He's like, yes, this again. Hello, old
None
friend.
of which I would recommend for your home bar. By the
Hard
way,
disagree, but
I knew something was wrong
So-
with my.
starting off with a good version of your favorite base spirit.
yeah, your favorite base spirit. I mean, the best modifiers to have, like, an orange liqueur, like, is pretty much called for just about in like half
One
a
out
dozen,
of every
like,
5 cocktails
yeah,
needs an orange liqueur.
pretty much. So like some Cointreau or, you know, something like that. Try to avoid like the triple sec stuff. Like it's like
So
super.
sticky.
Yeah, I guess sticky is a good way to describe it.
And not like the coconut sound sticky.
Mm-mm, not that one.
Oh, all those liqueurs are even Cointreau gets like it sometimes, but like the De Kuipers and things like that, like
Yeah.
the bottle is sticky after every time you use it, no matter how clean you make it. Like you touch it and it's just like, oh, it's stuck to my hand.
Yeah, and if you open that Cointreau bottle just like once and then never open it for like a couple decades or a year, you're never gonna open it again. It gets so like solidified.
That layer
Yeah.
of like sugar
So
crust is
crusty.
intense.
Yeah.
That's what my chartreuse bottle is like right now.
Right. A good bitter like an Aperol or a Campari is always a nice thing to have. It's a solid modifier. You don't need a large bottle of it. Like, and then small format bottles of sweet vermouth and dry vermouth. Like, you can buy 750s, I guess, because you hold it in your refrigerator, but it takes up fridge space.
Take
You
a fridge
know?
space, and also like that stuff has a shelf life on it.
Yeah.
I think that's not talked about a lot. Is like vermouth is wine, so like you
Yeah.
don't want it open that long.
Right.
It's gonna lose flavor.
Definitely. So that's why I go for like the smaller format bottles, the
Just a
375s.
fridge full of vermouth singles.
That legitimately is my
Ideal.
refrigerator. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Even though I'm not drinking, I still have my whole entire slew of home bar stuff.
A lot of that stuff where like you're hosting someone, here I'll make a drink.
Yeah,
Like it's not stuff that you just throw out all willy nilly.
pretty much. I mean, like,
Or you know a guy, you're like, I am passing along.
yes.
This
The
is your
collection.
problem now.
Here's my treasure chest full of alcohol.
That actually did happen to me and my
Yeah, someone
my
give you their
last
booty?
roommate. Yeah, their fiance was like taking a break from drinking, and so they were like, we gotta get all the booze out of the house. So they just brought this big box
Oh my
of
God.
like half empty bottles. It's like, here, take all this. That took a while to get through. Like there was still a lot of it. There was a whole handle of like blended scotch.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like, and I'm one of those people that like, there's only so much room on a shelf. I'm like, well, if we just finish one of these bottles,
Get it out of the way.
Never got to the end of that thing. That thing just took forever.
Was it a good blended scotch or what?
I mean, I was putting it in cocktails. I was making like what was that? That Scotch cocktail we made at F&B, that doctor's orders one. I was like, it was like a sour with like ginger and like a red wine float. I think I was messing around with something like that for a while. And then, actually, that's one of the ones I did a weird cocktail swap. I was making Saturns with that for a while. That was really weird.
Was it blended scotch?
Yeah.
Huh.
I wouldn't say that it didn't work, but it wasn't like super enjoyable either. Like the peat did not go well with like the orgeat, like the peaty, smoky from the scotch and like that like tropical nuttiness from the orgeat. I was like, these are not friends.
They didn't want to meet at this party.
No, it was not my best cocktail swap.
I think you have the least cocktail experience.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about nothing. I just drink what I like.
You just like to be drinking drinks.
I feel like that's all that matters most of the time. People ask me for recommendations on things, and I'm always like, well, what do you like?
I don't know.
That's really what matters, because I'm a psychopath and I drink just about everything. And like, if I'm in a mood for something, that's immediately what I go for.
Right.
You know, and I've developed a weird tendency like you where like I will enjoy things that I don't like and purposely like put myself through it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, why?
Why is this gross?
Like this? What is it about this that I don't like? That happened to me like a week ago. I bought an energy drink because caffeine's like the only thing I get to like
Makes
really
sense.
like stimulant wise enjoy now. And they didn't have any flipping Red Bull at Safeway.
What?
So not any of the cold ones. They had like a lot of warm ones down there. I needed a drink right now, not fucking 20 minutes later. I needed one right now. I got some like random can that I didn't see, but it said like guava on it, and I was like, okay, I could probably deal with this.
With the guava.
Yeah, I can fuck with some guava, and it was not good. It was just really bad, really bad. And
energy drinks are so much fun because they're flavors that you can't find in the real world.
Oh yeah,
in like
100%.
a really special way where it's like,
100%.
They had to like flavor scientists came together and they were like, this is it.
Yeah,
this is the
But they
ticket.
also never had the flavor before. They were like, you know what? This makes me think of this flavor. This is fine. It just tastes like blue, and you're like, this is not raspberry. I don't get
It's
it.
a blue raspberry, you idiot.
Sometimes the flavor names on these energy drinks are backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely backwards. Like my mom drinks this one brand, and they have one that's literally called Cosmic Stardust.
Oh.
What is that supposed to taste like?
Like the drugs the youths are using. Mom, get your hands off my cosmic stardust.
But then one of their other flavors is just cotton candy.
Okay.
So they go from obscure flavor name that could be anything that they decide and direct cotton candy.
They're actually the same flavor. Is the secret.
Yeah, and they just put a different name on every can.
I don't know if you've ever
One just has
seen
purple color.
cotton candy, but that is cosmic stardust.
I think the funny thing about cotton candy flavored things is it tastes more like cotton candy than actual cotton candy, because actual cotton candy is just spun sugar.
Actual cotton candy is such a weird thing. I think cotton candy, anything classic Americana, I'm like, to be a simpleton. I'm like, to live in a world where fireworks and cotton candy, and you're like, this is the summer of my life. This is it.
Said the guy that demanded hot dogs on the 4th of July.
Ballpark hot dogs cooked in the microwave with just mustard. Like
why specifically cooked in the microwave?
To impart as little flavor as possible.
You don't want to mess up the purity that is the ballpark hot
It's
dog.
very insular.
If you boil them, there's
The
too much flavor
leaches into the water. You need to keep that shit inside the casing.
Flavor leaches into the water.
Because then you get hot dog water. We've all heard
Then
of New
you
York.
can use that in your cocktails, though, so you can repurpose it.
No,
Ooh, hot dog water cocktail.
I'd make a mean martini. That was probably talking about like worst drinks. I think that's probably one of the worst things that I've ever made. and it was in collaboration with Miles because we were just so confused. And this is a regular at where I work, so if you ever end up listening to this isn't a knock on you. I just hate the drink. But they're super nice, and they come in and they get mocktails, and she ordered a mocktail. She was like, I want it to be savory. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what savory? Do you want soup?
So, but give a rundown though. What goes into a normal mocktail?
Well, so typically mocktails, you're going to like, especially for what we use, we have these, like fruit-based mixers. So there's like a Meyer lemon bomb one. So it's like Meyer lemon, and then, like a mint verbena situation, and then the other one is like a salted grapefruit. And so we'll just have these like in little bottles, pour out a little bit extra like fresh juice, and then some soda water, whiz it up, tastes like fizzy juice. Yay.
Fancy lemonade. All right, gotcha.
Mocktail.
It's a mocktail. It's easy breezy. And sometimes we have a green juice right now. We'll do the green juice with a little bit of soda just to lighten it up, because otherwise it's just going to a juice bar. It's really weird. But she wanted it she wanted it savory, and she was like, yeah, I went to a bar one time and they just like did stuff with olive juice, and I kind of liked it. And we were like, so go over to I type it in, I send it in the computer, and then I sprint over to the bar to see Miles read it. And it's just him. He like gets the ticket and he looks down at it, and then he looks up and he makes immediate eye contact with me, and I run away. Run back. He's like, I don't know what. And I was like, she said she likes olives, and he was like, so just olive juice? And I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
So he's like, what about like tonic to like balance it somewhat? And I was like, sure, why not? And so we did like 1.5 ounces olive juice, ice, tonic, lemon, and then I hit it with some of the celery bitters from Fee because it's glycerin based, so it doesn't have alcohol in it. And I tasted it, and I was like, this is awful. Full send. Garnish it with lemon twist and olive, because at that point, why not? We should have thrown a cocktail onion on there. Those have been hiding in the refrigerator.
The ones that have been in there since
before I was born. Those are the same cocktail onions when cocktail onions were invented. Yeah. There was only like 1,000 of them ever produced, just jars of cocktail onions, and they've been going around every restaurant in the world for the last century.
I remember asking Ian if I should throw it out when I first was training there, like the first day of training.
They still live. They live in a college refrigerator now. Oh, cocktail onions.
They live on forever. They're like mummified.
They are what is dead may never die.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if those onions would kill you at this point, or if you'd like safe to eat those.
You'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, it's preserved.
Probably wouldn't have very good poops.
That is always the major concern, isn't it?
Incredible poops.
It really
you
is.
Have life changing. You're like, I haven't stopped pooping, and I weigh 3 pounds less. This is wonderful.
The new fat diet.
You want the original cocktail onions?
Century
onions. You know you've heard of century eggs, but have we introduced you to
century onions?
We send out this drink, and the girl tastes it. She looks up. It's like, this is incredible, and I couldn't make a sound because I literally I was like I was like, oh, so glad you like it. And just walked. I ran back to Miles. I was like, buddy. It's like, she hated it, huh? And I was like, she said it was incredible. He was like, what the fuck?
I would have such a hard time not just laughing in that person's face.
Just to have the palate.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, everyone like what you like, but like, who hurt you?
Yeah, exactly.
To get
who made you like this?
To get you to the point where you're like, I want something savory. So I want like the weird bitter sweetness of quinine, and to counterbalance the pure salt brine of olive, little bit of lemon in there just to zhuzh it up.
Zhuzh it up.
And then celery salt just to make it taste like a Chicago dog. I think that's really...
You should have put a pickle sphere in that thing.
Too bad you didn't have the bright green relish to put right on top of there.
Ooh, I wanted to do a cocktail with the hot dog water from before.
A Chicago dog cocktail?
The Chicago dogtail. It's just through the garden.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hot dog bun infused gin.
Hot dog bun gin.
Yeah, hot dog bun infused gin.
We've got
Hot dog water simple syrup.
Yeah, hot dog simple syrup because that's easy enough to reduce down.
Yeah.
We got the bun the dog.
We need some tomato.
Tomato. They make tomato liqueur. That's the simple one.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Celery bitters they got to stay to act as a celery salt.
Yep.
You need your relish.
The neon. That's clearly just garnish.
Okay.
That's for the color.
That's for the color.
And mustard?
There's mustard. Yeah.
Yeah, mustard.
You do sweet mustard seeds.
Sweet mustard seed.
You can pickle the mustard seeds.
Do pickled mustard seed.
Yeah, pickled mustard seed for the acid.
Yeah. It sounds really gross.
It
I do
sounds
not want to drink it.
so awful.
It's served in a hollowed out tomato.
No, you know what? It's no,
Why is it in a tomato? We couldn't find it anywhere else.
You make the bright green relish into a boba.
Oh my god.
Oh, the chunks.
Ew, and that would be just mixed at the bottom with the celery seed.
Oh, daddy like.
I was gonna say zhuzh, underused word, but thank you for using ooh daddy like.
Oh, daddy like.
Ooh daddy like.
The link for that will be in the description.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
please.
everyone can
Oh.
become privy to musical gold.
You're welcome.
Is this drink served in one of those like hot dog papers?
Yeah, it comes in that little red basket.
Yeah, okay.
Right? That's the serving tray.
Yep.
That
We have 4 of those right now. Let's get the R&D
We can do it
department
right
is
now. We can make
firing up.
Yeah, I believe this is 100% a martini cocktail. It's served
Agreed.
in a coupe,
Yep.
right? You bring it on that little red basket serving tray, and then even though the paper wouldn't like make any sense, it's like a little ring
Oh,
around the stem
Around
of the
the
coupe. Yeah, so it's like
So
a
it'd
little
be a-
skirt.
So you're describing a cupcake paper?
Yes.
But yes.
Okay, but for people who haven't worked in the industry, how different is this than actually coming up with a real cocktail?
0.
I mean, I think when you come up with a real cocktail, there's definitely that point where you're kind of just throwing shit at the wall. Kind of like what we're doing here.
Like I'm describing right now.
Yeah, where we're just throwing paint at the wall and we're like, what looks good? You know, but a little bit more precise usually, because most of the time you're tasting a cocktail multiple times. You know.
We're tasting this at the end of this. This is
right straight to the drawing board for R&D. There's definitely a little bit of like, you always have like a little bit of back and forth, and I always try to bring it to somebody that I feel like makes better cocktails than me too.
What
Because
do you think?
if they're like, yeah, you could sell that and that'll work, I feel
Like,
I'm like,
I
okay,
trust.
cool. They know what I'm doing. They know what they're doing better than I do. So, but yes, hot dog cocktail. I believe in it. I believe in it.
I don't. But that I think that is.
When we open our Americana restaurant, that it has the cotton candy drink and the through the
And
garden
fireworks.
hot dog drink.
Yeah,
It's a restaurant.
That's what they would
for
have to
simpletons by simpletons.
Just like this podcast.
But like, can you imagine being in a time where you're like shaved ice? God is real. You know, like it's just shaved ice.
I mean,
That's how that went.
it's a miracle, really.
They manifested destiny.
Okay, too far, too far.
That's
Manifest
the end of
destiny.
the
No
politicalization.
more. We're not doing the American restaurant anymore. Done.
The
I
American
killed it.
restaurant Lucian.
Cross the line.
It was the American Dream restaurant. Now it's dead. I think something that's kind of a misconception about the industry as a whole is that there's one person that writes the whole menu and one person that creates everything, but it's really much more collaborative than that. So even you bringing up, I took it to somebody who I thought had a better palate and saw what they thought. How has that influenced how you make drinks over the years?
I mean, just always getting feedback, and usually making cocktails. Especially if it's for a menu, I typically don't make cocktails that I would drink. I make cocktails usually geared for like a specific, like, you know, obviously to fit the menu, but other times to fit a specific person as well too, I guess,
Sure.
if you will. Like tequila drinkers tend to be a little bit particular, and for some weird reason it's either vodka or tequila when it comes down to like the diet, like spirit. Like I don't understand what it is, but that's where people go. So I usually like cater my drinks when I'm making things to like specific types of drinkers. Like,
Sure.
you know, there's the like overly masculine guy who has to have his drink in a rocks glass. It can't be in a coupe. And, you know, it better be made with good whiskey. I don't drink any of that swill or that other shit.
Can
you
we
know,
believe
whatever.
that still happens in 2022?
Oh, toxic masculinity
The year
is
of our pug.
full strong right now.
Exists. Sometimes I will put like a drink I know guys will like in a coupe or like a girly glass, or even garnish it kind of feminine just so that guys
It makes their skin crawl, and
have
it's so weird.
to do it, like so that they're just like so they like you sell it to them because it is like
It's their drink.
intended for
Uh-huh.
them, and then they're like, fuck, I like this, but it's purple and it comes
Now I'm a pretty
it
princess.
comes with a bouquet of herbs on top of it.
It's
Can I
wild.
get another one?
Can
But
I-
you don't have to garnish it. You don't need to wait. You don't need to waste that stuff on me. It's like, oh, okay, dude.
Okay.
Because the lack of greenery on top of your purple drink makes you look less like a dude.
You're so cool, bro.
Yeah.
There's so many funny little things that I forget. Like I just forget about like the diet spirits. Like they're all alcohol. Like they're all going to be processed and have the same calorie intake. It's not like drinking that vodka.
It's all poison.
Isn't
It's-
it all like 15 calories like across the board for like most
No,
spirits?
a spirit. A typical pour of a spirit's going to be about 100 to 150 calories.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was trying to promote
Diet
diet
spirits.
cocktails. Like,
Yeah.
here we are. I have
I'm
no
sorry,
idea.
But then you add in like fruit juice and syrup
Right,
and
and then
all
it's
these things.
sugar.
Yeah, so that's why everybody's on like vodka soda, and that's why anytime it's like anybody's like, "What's a good like low calorie drink?" I'm like, "Well, first of all, don't drink
Water.
Water
Water's
would be
gonna be
the
good
right
for you.
answer, but I guess if you must,
Diet Coke.
Then
the
whole
way
milk.
God intended.
And then a cocktail.
yeah, pick a spirit and put soda water on it. I don't know. They have all kinds of flavored soda waters
Yeah.
now. Like you don't
Oh,
even
that's the most fun
you don't
game.
even have to try anymore. Like the fact
That's
that
true.
anybody asks what's a good low calorie cocktail? Oh, I don't know. Go to the grocery store, grab a bottle of
Look through
liquor,
the
and then
LaCroix
hit the
section.
sparkling water section. Like
Highball culture, not enough of a thing here in the U.S.
facts, 100%.
I appreciate a couple of the restaurants around town have started bringing in like the actual like Suntory Toki highball machines.
Oh,
That
I
hyper
wish I
pressurize
was
the water.
drinking. I'm a sucker for like really carbonated water.
Oh yeah, because
I want it to burn so bad.
that's why of all the sparkling water brands, Kroger's the homie. Their
That's
bubbles,
so
their bubble
carbonated.
structure is not it's not aggressive and fine. It's like aggressive big bubbles. Like we're talking the size of your eyes bubbles, where you're just like drinking it and you're like,
Choking
I'm
it
choking.
down.
It's delicious, daddy like. So yeah, Kroger is the go-to for like intense canned bubbles.
Okay.
I find that LaCroix has got more of like a fine.
Softer.
It's the
It's a whisper of a
champagne.
bubble.
It's really
The
it's
champagne
annoying.
of sparkling water.
It's so gentle.
I like the AHA. The AHA is like the
Ahas are good.
four-door
I like the
sedan.
ahas because you can get them caffeinated.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
I'm in here
they-
for the
yeah.
addiction.
It's only 30 milligrams of caffeine, which is like a drop in the bucket to me. But you know,
You're over here like, I've had 5 grams today, not milligrams, grams. Just
I'm like a 2 to 3 energy drink person. That does not include my coffee intake either.
Oh man.
Jesus.
It's the only stimulant I get. Plus my meds make me sleepy too. So like,
you're just all about balance.
He's been hanging
Yeah.
off the ceiling since he got here. We don't know how to get him down.
Tried the exorcist routine. He did throw up on the Bible, but that was not related.
completely unrelated. Completely.
So
Just egregious.
to wrap us up today, I want to know what you think the next hot spirit or cocktail is, because I think everybody's like, mezcal is this new thing. It's like, no, it's not a new thing. Like
Yeah.
that's been around. But what do you think is the next trend?
Next trendy thing.
Yeah.
I would almost even go to the go to the like edge of saying not drinking. Like everybody like is into those like non-alcoholic spirits, and there's so many now.
Yeah.
There's like at least 5 or 6 different brands of like those non-alcoholic spirits, which I haven't tried. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I did try the what is that one with the like very foresty?
Sip Smith.
Yeah, Sip Smith.
Seed Smith?
No, Seedlip.
Seedlip.
We're on the way. We're getting there.
This is how they named that company.
Yes. Yes,
Okay, another one.
DJ Khaled making a small appearance.
Herb ass. Seedlip.
No, I did try their garden one, which did literally taste like a garden, like freaking like acidic green bean
Wow.
is what it was like. Yeah, and it was supposed to be
My
like
least favorite garden.
Yeah, yes, acid and green beans.
You can't have a pickled green bean straight from the garden.
With just a little dirt and earth. It was weird. It wasn't my favorite. It worked for like basically anything that had vegetable juice in it.
Sure.
So I the non-alcoholic
your wheatgrass shots with your non-alcoholic garden. And
I feel like gin is making a comeback for some weird reason. Like I see a lot more gin on the market now, and I feel like they're steering it more towards like flavored gins, so that not gin people will drink it.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, it's. I agree that Nolo is like the next thing, or is the current thing where people are becoming much more health conscious, and that goes beyond even just like finding the alcohol replacements, but like the different kava bars and stuff that are opening up where people are like, it's not alcohol, it's this other ancient tea that we're gonna sweeten with juice and sugar, and it's gonna make you feel different.
It makes you feel weird.
But I think that the gins are set up in a really good spot where they can make people feel local and responsible while also still being an alcohol, where you're like, oh, this was forested from the backyard. It's the what is it? It's the Arizona juniper and the oranges, and it's all so local. It's like, well, we've been doing this.
Eucalyptus.
We've been throwing the local plant life into neutral spirit forever. Like that's how we got the flavored vodka. So it's funny that the gin is just like masquerading as
as if gin is not already just flavored vodka.
Yep. It's already what it was, and now it's just like getting this weird hyper local spin on it, where there's the one that comes to mind most and I think has the least reward on it that I've had recently was the it's called Whale. No. It's out of California. And it's got like a whale.
Oh, it has the tail on the bottle.
The whale tail on the bottle.
Not
ladies.
Not the thong.
Yes, very two different things.
Yeah, that's different.
You need to
that's
discriminate.
Not coming back yet, probably. I don't remember.
You might start wearing...
Not me, personally.
Damn, girl. You're like, I might.
No.
It's been a while since I thought about...
People are probably already doing that, is my point, but I don't know what the name of that one is.
But it's... I'll end up thinking of it as soon as I'm done talking about it, but it's got like 3 different seaweeds in it and all from like the California coast, and like their label is that whale tail with like different dots of the California coast. And
it's great branding.
It does not taste like anything special. It is just it's gin.
It's gin.
But they've done such a good job of that branding of like, we're local, we're sustainable, we're seaweed, California seaweed.
We're seaweed.
I had such high hopes, and I was like, well, it's pretty normal. But yeah, gin, non-alcoholic. Don't drink, it's bad for you, kids.
True.
But if you do,
drink responsibly?
Drink responsibly, eat irresponsibly. On that note, the guy at the bar just fell off of his chair, so we have to escort him to the hospital.
Not again.
Actually, no, even better. The couple at the end of the bar finally stopped kissing, so we can close the restaurant.
All we have to do is mop up that one spot.
It's so wet
that chair,
already.
Why do I have to wipe the chair? It's sticky. Thank you for listening to Love Food, Hate Money. This episode and every episode is edited by John Watkins of Feather Fiction Studios. He also does our original music. And check us out on all your favorite social media platforms. And please email us or DM us your industry stories. We would love to do a whole episode sharing all the weird shit that you have encountered while either being in the industry or just you went out to a restaurant, your server was weird because it was Jonah.
Those are nice toes you have.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
I made a mess.
Did you spill?